Hello and welcome to another episode of How to Pixelmon, the TM edition. So of course we're back here today with our friend Mew. Mew's been getting a little experience lately from the battles, but now we're just gonna use Mew for learning some of the TMs. So today we're going to be going over some of the ones that do actual damage. So we're gonna look here. We have like them all organized in no particular manner here, so we're gonna start grabbing some. Let's grab water TM, fire TMs, and electric TMs. Alright, now, water TM. Only one that is available is Scald. Scald does 80 power, 100 accuracy, and it may leave the target with a burn. It's actually a pretty good water move, but obviously being only one water TM, it can be a little rare to find, and a lot of people will use it up quickly when they find one. So, it's a good TM to have. Definitely has some value to it, depending on what server you're playing on and all that. And if you have a water Pokemon without a good water move, it's a really good special attack. But let's move on to Fire. Fire, we got, of course, Fire Blast. 120 power and 85 accuracy. So we got a chance of missing there, but still pretty good power. Well, very, very good power, and it's not that bad of a chance of hitting. So we can also burn them, of course, as with most fire moves. We have Flamethrower here. Flamethrower has 95 power, so a little bit less than Fire Blast, but it has perfect accuracy. So I'd say it's a fair trade-off for either of them, so choose what you would like. If you have a very strong Pokemon that you think a one-hit Pokemon anyway, go with the Flamethrower. If you have something you think you need the little extra power with the Fire Blast, go with that. But of course, this can also burn them. Now we also have Overheat. Overheat is actually even stronger than Fire Blast, with slightly better accuracy. Thing is, if you use Overheat like more than twice in a row, its power is going to go really far down because it reduces your special attack stat. So that's going to make it weaker and weaker, and not only Overheat, but the rest of your special attack moves. Now if you're just using this on a guy who's going to throw a couple Overheats out and then probably get one shot or something, that's fine. It'll still be useful. Really, not my preferred move, but it's not a bad one at all. Now let's look at Thunder. Thunder, of course, has only 70 accuracy, but 120 power. It can also paralyze targets, so it's a lot of power, but the accuracy can definitely be hit or miss, quite literally on that. When you take a look at Thunderbolt, I personally prefer Thunderbolt because it has perfect accuracy and 95 power. It's only 25 power left, but you don't really have that pretty good chance of missing, so it's a lot more dependable. But sometimes if your Pokemon doesn't have extremely good special attack, Thunder is definitely good to have, or if you want to throw a Wide Lens on the Pokemon, as I've stated earlier in the series, it'll make a lot of sense. So we also have Charge Beam here. Charge Beam's a little weaker, but it can raise your special attack stat if you're using it. So if you have a Pokemon with multiple electric moves, like say Charge Beam and Thunderbolt, use Charge Beam, it'll make your Thunderbolt stronger against other Pokemon. So if you're going against a Pokemon that Charge Beam can kill in any way, or something along those lines, go ahead and use it. But normally you would want to have more mixed around moves either way. Finally, we're going to come to Wild Charge here. Wild Charge is the only physical electric TM here. It does 90 power and 100 accuracy. The thing is, it does some recoil damage, so you can usually only get a few really good Wild Charges in before your Pokemon starts to feel it and possibly kill itself. But yeah, Wild Charge is a great physical move to have. Great for your Electivires or Luxrays if you need to have that on them. And a lot of Pokemon can learn it as well. You can have a Snorlax with Wild Charge, as I have in my gym. So let's put these away. There, you can all go there. And let's grab some Ice TMs, some Grass TMs, and Psychic TMs. So let's bring Mew back here. We're going to go right to the Ice, of course. We're going to go Blizzard. Blizzard's pretty much the same as Thunder. It does 120 power, 70, except it freezes instead of paralyzes. Now, freezing is a low chance, but obviously if you're frozen, you can't do anything. And the melting can be later, it could be sooner. You don't really know. It's kind of a random chance. Ice Beam has the good accuracy and 95 power, pretty much the Thunderbolt of the Ice TMs. And I prefer Ice Beam, of course, for the same exact reasons. Now we also have Frost Breath here, which is definitely my least preferred. Now the cool thing about this is it always results in a critical hit, but that only means that the move does 80 power, and it can't even do any more after that. So if you need an Ice move on a Pokemon and you can't happen to get an Ice Beam, it's not that bad. Pretty much you can just say it's at 80 power and can't crit if you want to look at it that way, but it's not a great move to have. So let's put that away. Let's go to the Grass TMs. Now, of course, we have Solar Beam, the strongest one. The only downside is it takes 2 turns. I really don't like Solar Beam, although it has 100 accuracy. You use Solar Beam, you sit there, the enemy could switch. and switch to a grass type, you're not going to do a lot of damage. Now, if you have them paralyzed or something, then maybe it can be worth it. So, like, if you have a Pokemon that can, like, only learn Solar Beam, like, say you have it on a Charizard, and you're going against a paralyzed Pokemon, then Solar Beam could be actually useful. It's still really risky, though. So, we are now going to look at Energy Ball. Energy Ball is definitely my favorite grass TM. Solid 80 power, lowers the target's special defense, so 2 Energy Balls will pretty much take out anything, and accuracy of 100. So you're going to hit with it, you're going to hit hard and take out anything that you need grass moves for. Really good for killing pretty much all water, ground, and rock Pokemon. We also have Grass Knot here. Grass Knot, it's pretty much not as good as Energy Ball, but it's still a grass move, and the thing about Grass Knot is a lot of Pokemon can learn it. So if you need, like, say, a counter to Swamperts on your team, Grass Knot's a great thing to have because it will take out a Swampert just because Swamperts are kind of heavy, and Grass Knot does more damage to heavier targets. So some of the bigger water types and, rock types are pretty heavy as well, will actually take some solid damage from this. So although it's not a strong move entirely, it's a good counter if you need to have one, so I would not avoid putting that on the team. Now, of course, we have the Psychic TMs. Psychic being the most simple of all of them, 90 power, 100 accuracy. Pretty good move right there, and it lowers the target's special defense. So if you need to use multiple Psychics, it'll get easier and easier for you. Now we're going to look at Psyshock, which is definitely an interesting one. It does 80 power, but it's also a special attack move. Thing is, it does physical damage. So if you throw this on an Alakazam, which is all special attack by far, it'll use that to increase this move's damage, but the damage done to the enemy will be physical damage. So it'll definitely, confuse people, really. That's pretty much the point of that. You can switch it up a little bit. And then, of course, we have Dream Eater. Dream Eater is used when the target is asleep, does 100 power and 100 accuracy, a strong move, and you get to steal half the damage you cause and put it on your own health. So it's really good if you have a Pokemon with good special attack and health, or just a tanky Pokemon in general. You can just heal yourself up once you get them to sleep. Or you could just have that classic Gengar Hypnosis Dream Eater combo and just really annoy people. So that's always a good move to have. Let's put these back and grab some more TMs. It's organizing in a completely different manner now. Okay, let's grab Skydrop. Rather the flying and the fighting TMs. Okay. Mew, sit here. For fighting, we have Focus Blast. Focus Blast is a special attack. So it does 120 power and 70 accuracy. So it's pretty much like Thunder and Blizzard, except it's a fighting move. And the thing is, this is a really good move to throw in those special attack Pokemon. Like, you can use it on a lot of Pokemon, like Alakazam and Jinx, and all kinds of Pokemon like that. So it's a really good move to have. Thing is, you just gotta watch out for that accuracy once again. Now, for the physical fighting moves, we have, of course, Brick Break, probably the best fighting TM. It can get through Light Screen and Reflect. That's not really going to be used too much. You're not going to see it all too often, but it has 75 power and 100 accuracy, so it's not a bad fighting move at all if you need that special advantage there. So we also have Low Sweep. Low Sweep is not that bad either, 60 power. It's not that great, but it can lower the target's speed, so if you want to do that, go ahead. And also you can teach that if you don't have Brick Break. And then finally we have Rock Smash. Rock Smash I wouldn't specifically advise using, because Brick Break is just so much better entirely. It only does 40 power, but it can lower the target's defense stat. So if you need to use it in that purpose, go ahead. But otherwise, I would definitely suggest Brick Break over that. Blah blah blah. Alright, we still have the flying TMs. Let's look at them. We got Skydrop, of course. Pretty much a weaker version of Fly. We'll go over Fly tomorrow. We have 60 power, and of course the target flies up in the sky, avoids damage, and then comes back down. I don't entirely love this move because the person can switch out to like a rock Pokemon and not take too much damage from it. We also have Acrobatics. Now Acrobatics, I did test it out and it does work. If the user is not holding an item, it'll do a lot of extra damage. I think double the damage. Right now it's a little bit weaker than, I think it said it was like 55 power before, and I think that sounds pretty accurate. And when you're going against a target with no item, it's going to do a lot more. So this is great for training on wild Pokemon, or fighting in things such as Safari games, and things that your enemy is not going to have items in. But against, full fully item trainer battles, it's not necessarily the best flying move. I would probably prefer to use Aerial Ace, because Aerial Ace does a solid 60 power, just like the other ones, but it just hits, and it can't miss. That's the advantage to having Aerial Ace. So that's just a good move in general to have. There's not a lot of flying TMs with a lot of power on them, but Aerial Ace is pretty dependable. I have that on my Pidgeot, so it's very good. Now let's check out the Dark, Ghost, Dragon, and Rock TMs. Alright, so where are you at? There you are. Okay, now we got Snarl. Snarl, it's a dark move. It does 55 power, pretty much good accuracy, and, well, it's not that great, but it can make their special attack decrease, so you can just mess around with people like that. If you're attacking Psychic Pokemon, not bad. You might save your Pokemon's life with this move, but I would probably suggest just using a stronger move. We also have Ghost moves here. Shadow Claw, pretty much physical damage, 70 power, not too bad. High crit ratio, so I think that's a good move to have if you need a Ghost move on your team. A lot of them can learn Shadow Claw, and for the same reasons, a lot can learn Shadow Ball. It does 80 power and lowers the special defense. Definitely a good move to have, especially on some of the EVs. I know like Jolteon and I think pretty much just every one of them can learn Shadow Ball, so that's a good way to mix things up a little bit. And a lot of Pokemon can learn it, of course. Now we also have Dragon TMs. Both of these are physical. First being Dragon Claw, 80 power, 100 accuracy. A pretty good move, but remember, Dragon's only super effective against other dragons. So if you are trying to choose between two important TMs, then maybe not go for the Dragon move, but if you need a counter to Dragons and you don't have any ice, you know, Dragon Claw is a good way to go. We also have Dragon Tail. Probably wouldn't advise using it for the reasons I just mentioned a second ago, and it only has 60 power. It also says it'll knock a target and drag out another Pokemon, and it doesn't do that. It's just a 60 power, 90 accuracy move. Only super effective against dragons. Not bad, but not too great on the other side. So we also have the Rock TMs here. Stone Edge, one of my favorite moves. 100 power and a high crit ratio. So you're definitely going to want that on Rock Pokemon, because it's going to do a lot of damage. 150 with the stab and with a good crit ratio. It only has 80 accuracy, but it'll still usually hit. And when it does, it'll pretty much just demolish anything it touches. Now, if you do want a little bit more accuracy, you can always go for a Rock Slide. Rock Slide has 90 accuracy, but only 75 power. It says it'll make the target flinch, but of course, in Pixelmon, there is no flinching, so it's not necessarily as good as it could be. But if you don't have a Stone Edge, you know, Rock Slide's good if you want that type advantage. Now, finally, we have Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb is only 50 power and 80 accuracy, so people are doing some smiting, it seems. No, just a thunderstorm, but yeah, boulders are hurled at the target, and it lowers the target's speed. Not bad. I'd take a Stone Edge over this any day, but Rock Tomb is not a bad move. So let me just turn that sound down a little bit for you guys. Alright, now, put these away. Alright, now we have, let's put that there. We gotta look at the bug ones, the ground moves, and the poison moves. And then we're almost home! Alright, so let's look at the Earthquake. You already know Earthquake? Well, Earthquake, well, I'll just look at it through here. It is a ground move. It does 100 power and 100 accuracy. Very strong move, and it's going to hit most of the time. Only downside, of course, is the same with all ground moves. It cannot hit flying targets. So just keep an eye on what Pokemon you're facing, and know what Pokemon, you know, their type is and all that, so then you can counter that. So otherwise, it's a very strong move. Dig, also pretty strong, 80 power. It goes down for one turn, making you invulnerable to damage, then comes back up. Thing about Dig, though, if your enemy has a flying Pokemon still alive on their team, it's kinda useless, because you're going to use Dig, you're going to go down, then they're going to say, okay, I'm switching to my flying Pokemon, and then you won't hit them. So it's a good move to have if you need a ground move, but definitely prefer Earthquake over it. Now, finally, we have Bulldoze. Bulldoze, only 60 power, but it reduces speed. I'd prefer Earthquake, of course, but Bulldoze is not a bad move by any means. If you need this, you know, the type advantage, take out electric types, go for the Bulldoze. It's not a bad move. Now we have here, Sludge Wave. Sludge Wave, 95 power and 100 accuracy. Very strong special poison move, and it can poison those it hits just as any other poison move. We also have Sludge Bomb. pretty much the same thing, except it only does 90 power. Both very good moves, but of course Sludge Wave is slightly better. Then we have Poison Jab, 80 power, but it's a physical poison move. So this is what you might want to teach to your Nidoking and so on, so it'll do a little bit more damage with that physical attack power. Now we also looked at Venoshock in a previous episode, and Venoshock does in fact work. It will outpower any of these if the target is already poisoned, so keep that in mind. Now we have, for bug TMs, X-Scissor. X-Scissor is solid 80 power and 100 accuracy, a very strong bug move. If you have Pokemon that can learn it, good to know. We have Struggle Bug, pretty useless. It only does 30 power, and it reduces the target's special attack. So if you want to just bug him with that, you could, but really this is just a move you would put on like a Metapod just to troll people or something. We also have U-Turn. U-Turn, also not a bad move. Thing is, it has a special effect to switch, places with a party Pokemon, blah blah blah. That doesn't work, don't worry about that. It just has 70 power, 100 accuracy, and a lot of Pokemon can learn U-Turn, so if you need a bug move, might as well go for that. It's a good one to have, and don't underestimate those bug moves. They can take out a lot of things. Like, you don't need Dark to take out Psychic, you can do it with Bug. Bug can also take out like Grass and other things, so keep that in mind. So, we're almost there. Let's get the rest of these TMs. We got all the normal ones here. And we'll grab Flash Cannon. Flash Cannon's the only steel TM. It does 80 power and 100 accuracy, special attack damage, and lowers special defense stat. Not bad if you want a steel move. Thing about steel moves, they're only good against rock and ice. If you can get a different move that'll be effective against those, I would suggest it, but hey, having an extra steel move is not a bad thing if you need it. And let's look at these other ones. We got Hyper Beam. Everyone knows Hyper Beam, of course. You hit with an extremely hard beam of special attack damage for 150 power. It has a 90 accuracy, so it's probably still going to hit. Downside of this is next turn you got to sit there and wait. You got to recharge from that Hyper Beam, so it definitely leaves you vulnerable. We also have Giga Impact here, pretty much the same exact thing. You got that weakness and you got to wait, except Giga Impact does physical damage. So if you put this on a Pokemon such as a Snorlax or a Tauros, a physical attack normal Pokemon, it's going to do a ton of damage. Even with that much power, you can put it on something that's not normal type, and it's still going to do a lot of damage. Just has that weakness. Thing you can work around that with is if you have a Pokemon that's at low health and it's going to die the next turn anyway, go ahead and use that Giga Impact. When they send out their next Pokemon, it'll kill you. So what, you're recharging anyway, nothing you can do about it. Why not go out with a bang? Speaking of which, Explosion! So Explosion does 250 power. That is an insane amount of damage. If you can teach this to a Pokemon, I would highly advise it. Thing is, it's best on a tanky Pokemon. Because here's the thing. If they are attacking you, they take a big chunk of your health down, they take another big chunk of your health down. It looks like they're probably going to beat you the next turn or a turn after that. Well, looks like it's a good time for the Explosion. So you're going to be taken out anyway, so might as well take them out with you. That's pretty much what Explosion does. That damage is going to drag just about anything it touches down with you. So that's pretty much a great finishing act there. We also have Round. Round, I believe we checked earlier. It does more damage the more times you use it. So it does 60 power now. If you're not a normal type, not necessarily a best move to have, but it does increase damage the more you use it. So if you can get into that habit, and especially with a metronome, that'll just exponentially grow and do a ton of damage. With 15 power points, you can definitely make that really hurt some people. Now we also have Return. Return does more damage if the Pokemon likes you. Thing is, it's not really that great even if you have a Pokemon that does really like you, so I wouldn't really advise using that. And I definitely wouldn't advise using this next move, Frustration, because if you're using a Pokemon a lot, it's probably not going to dislike you, and the damage it does isn't really worth it anyway, even if it does. Plus, you must love your Pokemon and cherish them, and I believe that's all the TMs that we have in this list here. Yep, we have gone over just about every damaging TM that we haven't talked about already in the previous 2 episodes. So definitely thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Remember, if you would like to receive one of the TMs featured in this episode, leave its name in the comment down below, and I will see about getting it to you within the 24 hours on this Waffle House beautiful server thing here. We're still going to be going over some more TMs tomorrow, all the special ones we'll call them, and of course the HMs. And those will be featured soon. But definitely leave a like if you have enjoyed. Thank you everyone for watching, and goodbye.